Hello and welcome to another House of Wisdom Lightest and Best video where we look at the lightest and best offerings from a variety of manufacturers. And today we're going to be looking at the Guthrie Scout knife. Jason Guthrie is a South African knife maker. He also manages and owns a rifle range, which is what he does in his spare time, I guess, when he's not making knives. The Scout is a smaller version of the Ranger, which had a 3.9-inch blade. We're going to talk about the specifications. The blade length of the Scout is a much smaller blade. It's only 3 1/8 inch long. The handle length is 4.375 inches long, giving a total knife length of 7.5 inches. The weight of the Scout is only 3.16 ounces. Here we have before you several knives of similar size, starting with the Kershaw Skyline, the Guardian Tactical Helix Nano, and the Jerry McGinnis Mini Exo. The blade of the Scout is done in a satin-finished M390 steel with a Wharncliffe style blade. It has a full flat ground and almost comes to a zero grind. I want to get the picture of that full satin finish. But I brought a ruler to show you how close this gets to a full, almost a zero grind. If you can appreciate that secondary bevel is just a little thin line there. It's much less than 1/2 of 1 millimeter in line. You can hardly even perceive it. It's sort of an afterthought. This is a knife that is very, very thin behind the edge. Almost comes down to a zero grind. It reminds me in shape of the Maxpedition Excelsa in its plunge line because they both have this diagonal plunge line, and that's unusual for a knife. Usually in a thumb stud knife, they will, like the Sabenza, come straight up with a plunge line and then turn and make a 90-degree angle, but that's just an interesting feature that other makers have used also. The method of deployment of the knife is thumb stud. And as you can see, we have the special milled trough that leads your finger to the thumb stud. I really like that design feature. Other makers have used it. I'm going to point out the Benchmade Emissary. It has the same idea. Let me close the blade here. It has on an aluminum handle the same idea of the milled out thumb trough that leads your thumb right to the thumb stud, which allows for easy location. You can be blindfolded and deploy the knife very nicely. And this knife has it also. The handles are made of skeletonized lightning strike carbon fiber on the show side, and then on the clip side we have 6AL 4V titanium. The show side has 3 larger holes followed by 3 small holes, and on the titanium side, the clip side, you only have the 3 larger holes. I think it really didn't work out to put holes on the lock bar. The construction of the knife is pretty simple. It has an open construction with only 2 standoffs in the back, and then its stop pin is a floating stop pin, and it is used both in the closed position and to stop the blade in the open position. The pivot of the knife runs on Teflon washers, and on the show side we have the 5-point proprietary South African American style pivot, but on the clip side we have a 2mm hex key type pivot, which is easy to undo, so don't worry, you don't need a special tool to undo this knife. And it runs, as I've mentioned, on Teflon washers reminiscent of the Hinder knives, and it's a testimony that you can have a great smooth action that's easy to flip out and still have it on washers. The closing action, because it is on washers, is a shake, shut, close knife, but it's very smooth and very hydraulic in its action. The ergonomics on the knife are great. In the closed position, this milled out funnel guides your thumb to the thumb stud. In the open position, it's a great place to put your index finger. And because of the length of this handle is over 4 inches, you have plenty of handle length left at the end. It's a great ergonomically designed knife. The signage on the knife is minimal. All you have is the Jason Guthrie Maker's Mark on the end of the pocket clip. Everything else, you got to look at the certificate of authenticity to find where it's made, who makes it, and the type of steel used. Well done, Jason Guthrie. The lockup on the Guthrie Scout is distinctive. It has a frame lock. However, its lock bar interface is interesting. It has the GTI lock, which stands for Guthrie Tungsten Insert, and I'll show a picture of it up in the upper right-hand corner from the Certificate of Authenticity paperwork that Jason made. And he drills a hole at the end of the lock bar, basically, and inserts a round piece of tungsten for the blade interface. And it gets a great blade interface. The Rockwell hardness of tungsten is around 90, which is harder than any blade that you'll have. So it has this distinctive, innovative lockup on the lock bar of the Jason Guthrie Scout knife. So what do I think about the Jason Guthrie Scout knife? I really like it. And are there opportunities for improvement? I'm going to talk a little bit about lightning strike carbon fiber knives. This is not a complaint against this particular knife, only a commentary on the nature of lightning strike carbon fiber. Lightning strike carbon fiber has this thin, delicate wire in two directions going in the plane of the knife and the carbon fiber, and as long as you're staying in the plane of that wire mesh, it is completely smooth. Whenever you cut across the wire, you have these. You cut the wire, and you can feel little snags on your finger if you run it across there. Also in the thumb ramp to the thumb stud, you can feel a little snag every once in a while. And that's just the nature of the carbon fiber. It's not a complaint against the knife. This will be with any carbon fiber lightning strike carbon fiber knife that you use. Jason also makes this in regular carbon fiber and in full titanium, so you can choose your material. And I don't hear other commentators commenting on the little cut ends of wire on the knives that they review, so I'm just too type A compulsive, and maybe it shouldn't be a deal to me, and it really isn't. I would not change the design of this knife at all. I love the milled out approach to your thumb ramp. But what do I like about the knife? The GTI lock bar insert is very innovative, and I like innovation in knife making. The fit and finish and materials on this knife are impeccable. It is perfectly made. And the pivot with the beautiful show side and then the functional hex key on the clip side is a great idea. It's walking the line of pivot excellence. And the blade, look at that hand-rubbed satin finish blade and the modified Wharncliffe. And it comes down to a paper-thin, almost zero grind. This is a blade of excellence. So in summary, if you're a washer kind of knife guy, you like Hinder knives, Chris Reeves Sebenzas, this is going to be the knife for you. It's a testament that you can make a knife on washers and that it can have a smooth action. The Carbon Fiber Scout is the lightest and best knife from the South African knife maker Jason Guthrie. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Leave a comment for me in the comment section. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you on the next House of Wisdom, lightest and best knife review video.